Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Wow, it is Halloween 2025, and I have a crazy show for you guys today. And it's fitting, actually. All Hallows Eve. The veil is thinnest between now and the 5th of November. And this is a pretty crazy discovery. And discovery came because one of you asked me to look at the Lord of Illusions movie from 1995. Now, in this movie, you are going to see blatant symbolism surrounding Trump 21 years before he would become president. Of course, his first presidency was in 2016. This was in 1995. You are going to see a reanimated Pharaoh and a MAGA magician. Trump was resurrected into an Apollonic clown archetype. He even has followers that have alopecia. You're going to also see standing stone, eclipse portals, and all kinds of other blatant symbolism connecting past to present. You see, the entire film, Lord of Illusions from 1995, is about fake magic versus real magic. That's the core theme. And it stars the Quantum Leap actor, Scott Bakula. And he plays a private detective who is trying to solve a series of occult murders centered around a cult who is trying to resurrect a supernatural leader named Nyx. And Nyx is the Trump archetype that we're going to break down today. Here it is, Lord of Illusions. What a trip. Let's start going through some of these clips and we'll begin to break this down. Unreal.
I'm a private detective. I was hired to follow a guy for a couple of days, a guy named Tappert.
So, of course, that's Scott Bakula. And remember, he was born on 166, which was the 183rd day of the year with 83 remaining. 83 and 83 is 166. And the bad guy who opposes Bakula in the film, his name is Nyx. Let's take a look at him. Here's Scott Bakula, born on October 9th, 183rd with 83 remaining. That's 166. Here's the bad guy. He was born on the eve of 6/6. That's another 66. So they basically oppose one another in the movie. They oppose one another. They are polar opposites, or I guess we can call it it's like a duality. Now, Bakula comes up onto a crime scene and he discovers this murder. And in the backdrop, we see standing stones and the Apollo sun. Let's take a look. There's the Apollonic sun. And as you're going to shortly see here, Bakula will become the sun portion of this duality. Here you see the standing stones and a black hole sun, which is an eclipse at Stonehenge in the backdrop. All of these props were placed intentionally. The sun and opposite it, the Stonehenge picture in the background. Let's keep watching. And you're going to see exactly why in a second. Now here you can clearly see the sun darkened and behind him the Stonehenge picture. Okay, this is all intentional because Bakula will become the Apollonic archetype opposite the other archetype, which is the darkness or the night.
You ever heard of somebody called the Puritan? Something else. You ever heard of somebody called the Puritan? Something else.
So there you see the 77 as he exits the crime scene. So it's firmly established here at this point that Bacula is the sun, right? He's kind of like the duality of Trump, because Trump is sun and moon. He's Artemis and Apollo, but Bacula is the sun, which makes sense because he's the 166, just like Trump is 66 and 77. It's all about the Gemini spirit. They even show these sun necklaces on the ground in the crime scene in case you didn't see the sun the first time. It's all intentional.
He just came to get his palm read.
Then enters the moon, which is the Lord of Illusions, who also goes by the name Nyx, as well as the Puritan. Let's see if he says it here. Did he say that here? Oh, here it is. Yeah, let's play this back.
You ever heard of somebody called the Puritan?
Now, who is the Puritan? Well, the Puritan is this guy. It's Nyx, born on the eve of 6/6. And so it's obvious by now that these two characters, Nyx the Puritan and Scott Bakula the Apollonic character, are opposites, but equals. It's Artemis and Apollo. And I believe that the name Puritan is a play on the words. You guys fill in the blanks. We're going to do some interactive decoding here, because at this point, it should all make sense. What does Puritan mean to you? I'm in the chat now. Now, let me give you a clue, because at the end of the movie, Nyx the Puritan is resurrected, and he looks very different. He looks like a clown. With clown makeup, I'll show you some images of that. What does the Puritan really mean? I know it's early, but this should be a slam dunk for those with eyes to see. What does Puritan mean? Smile on Sunflower says purity. Pure eaten. Okay, you're getting close. Okay, let me give you one more clue. Yeah, we're going to break down Nyx in a minute, Christina. But what does the Puritan mean? Ready? Someone's going to get the answer to this. Let me give you a clue. Think about Trump's face. That should be a good enough clue. Think about Trump's face. Pilgrim. Pure in a tin. Betty's close. Think more simply. Split the word Puritan up into, there you go. I'm just me, you just be, you got it. Orange, the pure tan. The pure tan, which of course, Trump has that tan on his face. The pure tan. Now, let's keep going, because the Puritan's alias, let's go back here, is Nyx. That's what they call him. He goes by Nyx and the Puritan. And look what I found here. Now, the spelling's a little bit different, but this has to be what they were going for. Nyx finds its roots in the ancient Greek god Nyx, Nyx, who is the opposite of the sun. Nyx is the personification of night. In the Greek mythology, here's the Wikipedia page here. In fact, Nyx competed with Apollo, according to this ancient mythology. Let's pull that up for you. It says here, Apollo competed with Nyx. So, now you understand the duality between Bacula and Nyx, sun and moon. Just like Apollo and Artemis, sun and moon. Now, they also mention Artemis in this article because a statue of Nyx was found in the temple of Artemis, Apollo's twin sister. Now, let's keep going. This is crazy. This is Nyx in The Lord of Illusions after he's resurrected. Trigger alert. And he literally looks like he's wearing clown makeup. He didn't look like that before. Before, he looked like this. He's then buried in the ground and then resurrected like a pharaoh wearing this bizarre clown makeup. And he's got like this third eye with an X on it. This has to be the mark of Cain. And this is insane. Now they trap him underground using this device that they clasp onto his face. But then his followers find him where he's buried and they resurrect him. Now, what other things connect this to Trump? Well, I hope you're sitting down for this one, because you'll remember the Paula White Moonies connection to Trump. Remember, Paula White was a Moonie. She honored the Moon Lady. And remember, they purchased the building. It's their headquarters where Nikola Tesla died, and Trump's uncle confiscated the papers at the Wyndham New Yorker. That is now the Moonies headquarter building. Trump spoke at the Moonies on 9/11 several years ago. So there's some kind of connection, isn't there? Well, what are the odds that they mention the Moonies in this movie? Watch.
Something else. He just came to get his palm read. Can't have too many saviors.
Are you a believer, then?
Oh, yeah, I've signed on for all of them in my time. Catholic, Hindu, Moonies. Valid.
You can't make this up. We just did a re-upload on the Moonies a few days ago, before I even decoded this film. For them to mention that means that this is all connected. Now, there is the letter. Oh, this is the part where it's, wait, let me go back here. Oh, here we go. So there is this letter T that is a central theme in the film, and it's imprinted on the forehead of Nyx's #1 henchman. This is him here, this guy. And you can see the T imprinted on his forehead. Here's another shot of it. This is a clearer shot. And as you can see, this looks a lot like the Tesla logo. And this guy, basically, he was the guy who attacked Scott Bakula in that first murder scene. He's thrown out a window, but he survives. And he's the top henchman for Nyx, the Puritan. Let's go back to this shot here for you guys. So what I did is I took the Tesla logo and I put it next to this symbol. And as you can see, they are very, very similar. And let's go back here. So what am I on about? Well, the T symbol is also the actual key to open up Nyx's secret lair, where all these artifacts and stuff and all this magic stuff is. Here it is here. They literally push this button and it opens up his lair, and they find all this stuff inside, but then they leave. Pretty crazy, you guys. So how is all this connected? Well, what are the odds that this looks a lot like the Tesla logo? What are the odds? I did stretch this Tesla logo down a little bit, but this is how they do things. They reverse things. They stretch them to hide things in plain sight. This looks so similar, it's creepy. Now, let's keep going. Again, the bad guy is named Nyx, and he was buried by a good magician, or so they say, and he was sleeping in stasis like a pharaoh. But his followers are in search of his grave so they can resurrect him. And lo and behold, they do this ritual where they cut their hair off in chunks. And it appears to me as though they're channeling this whole alopecia thing. Do you see where all this is headed? Let's play this and then I'll explain further. You literally can't make this up. According to ancient mythology, Apollo, Artemis was found under a willow tree by a brother named Apollo-pecia, after which the word alopecia is named. So now we've got all the components of ancient mythology. Apollo, Artemis, willow trees, alopecia, contained in this occult film. Except we made all these comparisons already to what we went through with COVID-19 and Trump. Apollo and Artemis are the bringers of disease, and they are the bringers of the cure. The willow tree represents hair, because that's what a willow tree looks like. Alopecia's brother represents alopecia, the loss of the hair. That's why he found Artemis under the willow tree. And the arrows of Apollo and Artemis represent the vaccine. And then we find out that it causes alopecia. Then they had that whole alopecia ritual with Will Smith and his wife, who was promoting an alopecia medication at the award ceremony. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, he smite the Christ rock of the church. Spiritually, Will Smith means smite. And remember, it was also Will Smith in I Am Legend who administered his own blood to cure the zombie apocalypse. Colonel Robert Nebel from I Am Legend. Colonel is Corona. I think we're on to something, you guys. Now, Nyx is reanimated. Let's keep watching here. They pull off this mask that I showed you earlier. Nyx is reanimated, and we see the black goo, which is everything we've been talking about for at least a decade now. In the ancient canopic jars of the Egyptians, they would put these organs of the body into these canopic jars. I know this all sounds crazy, you guys, but we've already been through all this. It would break down into this black goo DNA, and this is how they believe that they could survive the afterlife. But really, it was the preservation of the DNA so they could be reanimated into clones and then have the new spirit seated inside of the clone or the golem. So they pull out pull the mask off. There you see the black goo. There we get a canopic jar connection there, kind of on the shelf. Now wait till you hear this part. Remember that woman, because we're going to talk about her in a minute. Notice the focus on the eyes, because the eye is the lamp of the body. It is either full of light or full of darkness. Those are Jesus' words. The eye is the lamp of the body. It is either full of light, which I believe he was talking about Holy Spirit, or it is full of darkness, which is possession. Obviously, that's another duality. The sun versus the moon, Apollo versus Artemis, and light versus dark. There you see all the Egyptian iconography. You guys, this is real, okay? This isn't fake. This is real. This all connects full circle to the present day. It's as clear as day to me. It's as clear as day. There he is. He's a pharaoh, essentially. Straight up pharaonic symbolism. And if you think I'm making all this up, understand that the guy that you just saw laying on the table also played in a movie, made-for-TV movie called Citizen Cone, which was all about Trump's attorney in 1992, Roy Cohn. Wow. What are the odds of that? Now, another connection here is the Nix character. Let's go back here. This is him again. Again, born on the eve of 6/6. He lived to be 8 times 8 years old. 64, 88, 66. Both Gemini, Duality, Trump numbers. And it's pretty clear to me by now that Nix is channeling Trump. And Trump is the one laying on this table. The Apollonic day versus night character. Wow. Now, in the end, he ends up sacrificing his own followers. He says they're not worthy. You know, the ones with alopecia, which actually is exactly what Trump did. I'll let you fill in the blanks of how he did that, because I can't tell you how he did that, because they'll come after me.
You're not worthy, none of you.
He sucks them into the ground in this rain. This rain falls. He causes this purple cloud to come over above them. The rain falls and sucks them all down and back into the dust, right? Which is like a burial ritual, I guess. And they're all bald while they're doing it. And now, contrary to popular belief, this actually wasn't that scary of a movie. Right now, it probably seems scary because it's All Hallows Eve, but it's actually not. It's kind of corny in today's standards. But I still wouldn't recommend this film. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version. I'm giving you kind of the PG version of this. And I'm hoping that you're seeing the clear symbolism here. Now, I told you to remember that actress. She was the lead female role in the film. And remember, she was born on the 5th of November, which is the end of All Hallows Eve. Let's pull that up. Famke Janssen, born on the 5th of November. This is when the Pleiades are highest in the zenith. And they do the new fire ceremony every 52 years. 5th of November. This is when time travel was discovered in Back to the Future on a toilet by Doc Brown. You flush the toilet, it's the unclean spirits in a spiral portal. That was the symbolism there. Right? Coming through the portal. The veil is thinnest. And let's go back here. Well, guess what? In this next scene, they literally show her as the catalyst by which the portal opens. And what it appears to be is the bottomless pit portal. Let's take a look. He's holding her, and that is exactly the point where the bottomless pit opens. And he's holding the woman whose birthday in real life is a portal birthday. I wish I was making all this up, but obviously I'm not. And finally, remember this comet. Everybody's been talking about this comet, right? And Call for an Uprising did a video, interestingly, which kind of overlaps with mine, which is kind of weird, but it actually happened. I saw his video come up my feed. I didn't watch the video, but I looked up the title of his video, which was about it. The Black Swan event is what they're saying about this comet that's coming near the sun at this point. It's called the Atlas Comet. 3-eye Atlas. Here it is. Whoa. Oh boy. I just got chills. Okay, this is crazy. This is insane, you guys. Oh boy, sometimes, some days, just insane. Okay, so let's, excuse me, let's back up here. Let's get this right. This is very important. So they're saying it's a black swan event, which means that it's an event that could change everything if they discover something, right? Now listen very closely. This is very important. Famke Janssen and Kevin O'Connor go by the last name Swan in the movie. Well, that connects directly to this Atlas Comet because they're calling it a black swan event, and it was discovered, if I could get this right, just do it this way. At the Wiseman Astrophysical Observatory, spelled with 2 N's, just like the swan is spelled with 2 N's. Okay? But watch this. This is why I just got chills right now. I hope they show it to us. Lord of Illusions movie. Because when he buries his followers, his MAGA alopecia followers, in the ground, the rain that comes upon them is actually a purple cloud that looks almost exactly like that Atlas Comet. Gosh, I'm just going to have to pull up the actual movie. I didn't want to have to do this. Let's just be careful about how we do it. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out here live. I'll just have to go to the spot. This is very important that you see this.
Who's there?
I'm back with you.
Now I'm skipping through because and there's the purple cloud. Back here because this cloud is super purple. There it is. That looks a lot like the comet, doesn't it? Whoa. There's a better shot of it. There it is. Holy smokes. That's the comet, you guys. Now, there's multiple reasons why I had to be careful about that. When I watch these films, there are pop-ups that happen that aren't, it's bad stuff you're not supposed to see, for one reason. The other reason is copyright. I very carefully edit these clips so that so that we don't get hit with a copyright. So hopefully that went through okay. And look at that. Wow. Now, am I saying for sure something's going to happen with Atlas? No, I'm not saying that, because nobody knows the future. We're simply making the connections to things that should not be connected, right? What the heck was that all about? Wow. Now, I used to cover comets all the time. Let me go back into the chat. Some of you guys are just blown away right now. I used to cover comets all the time, all the way back about 10 years ago. The first one we covered was Comet Ison. And then I started to realize that these comets were just, most of the time, they were just a big nothing sandwich, So in this instance, I am unsure, but that was crazy. The colors were identical. And the whole Wiseman with the double ends and the black swan event. Let's double down on this black swan event, because they're basically saying that the term black swan, popularized by statistician Nassim Nicholas Taleb, describes a highly improbable event with massive consequences that people fail to predict or take seriously. Examples include financial crashes or global pandemics. Loeb argues that the discovery of an alien artifact could be the scientific version of such an event. Low probability, but civilization altering if true. So they're comparing that to the Atlas comet. And apparently this guy was on Joe Rogan, so they want you to know that this is a possible black swan event. Is it completely unconnected to the Lord of Illusions movie that we just decoded? I don't think it is. I think all this fits in exactly where they want it to fit in. Simply unbelievable. So let's summarize. We had the 66 Apollo Scott Bakula versus the June 6th, 66 Puritan Nyx, who was a resurrected clown pharaoh. His name means night, and he had the true MAGA magic. We also have the Trump-Moonies connection. We have the Trump letter T marked on the forehead. We have the alopecia followers that he sacrifices, which is what Trump really did when all of them got the it. We also have the numbers 77 and 88 confirmed, Gemini twin numbers. And finally, the 5th of November lead actress, whose birthday is the portal opening of the bottomless pit. And so at this point, there's no other conclusion that we can come to than Trump is Nyx, the Puritan, the Lord of Illusions. Confirmed. Wow. Now, I'll be back on Sunday, and we're going to get into if the shutdown actually happened. We're also going to talk about Trump he's going to work with Democrats to do Obamacare. Seriously? Remember I told you that wasn't going away? Well, confirmed. Also going to get into Trump picking and choosing who he's going to cancel their student debt. So if you're not in the right job, your debt isn't going to be canceled. And let's see what else we have here. Oh, found some Bad Bunny connections to iPet Goat 2 and a couple other stories. So that will be on Sunday's show. Okay, I'm in the chat for a bit. You guys, I'm blown away. Literally. Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys want to do a poll before we pop off of here? Please share this video. No one will see this video if you don't share it. Social media has undergone a shift. It must have come from the top down. Even on my Twitter account, I have like 6,000 followers and literally 25 people. That's all who saw the feed. So in other words, they're not sending out notifications to everyone anymore. So you basically got to sign back up to get notified of the shows. They do this about every 6 months. And it's not just on our channel. I think they could do it across the board. It's like a reset. So we have just experienced another social media reset. So yeah, and it was weird. It kind of coincided with the government shutdown is when I noticed it. Right after the whole Charlie Kirk thing, everything changed on social media. The views literally got cut in half, and it's across the board. So we got to counter that by breaking the algorithms, right? So I think everybody would need to see this video, today's video, because it's pretty much exactly over the target. Okay. Literally every type of movie is full of the symbolism, retelling the future or desired future of evil. Yes, Tony B. It's called predictive programming. And literally every single movie of any kind of production quality has similar symbolism pointing forward to future events that had not happened yet. So, yeah, the only way to counter the algorithm is that you have to share the video. And you have to thumbs up the video, and you have to view the video. When you do that, it basically holds the algorithm accountable. They can't lie because they're not sending out the notifications. So yeah, the black hole sun. Now, the one part of this decode that I did not double down on was the whole Stonehenge, eclipse. There's got to be something to that. I actually went back. I went onto the NASA website and I looked at the historical eclipses at Stonehenge. There's many, but I'm like, maybe it was maybe it had something to do with the summer solstice. Remember, Trump was born very close to the summer solstice. This is why he's Apollo, the sun god, right? He was born on June 14th, just days before the summer solstice. So maybe I need to double back down on Stonehenge and see if there were any eclipses on the summer solstice. Because I believe it's aligned to the summer solstice, and that would probably make more sense. So we can dig deeper and figure out what this is all about. Because Trump is ancient. Make no mistake, he's some kind of ancient spirit or demon or archetype. I don't know what he is, but I've never seen this much symbolism surrounding anybody. We did some symbolism on Obama when he was president in the infancy of this channel. We dug into Obama's links to the Lion King. Basically, the Lion King was all about Obama. Obama was the Lion King from Kenya, Africa. That's where Lion King was, based off of. The scenes and imagery were from Kenya and a national park there. And we dug into all that. Even named his children similar to the characters from Lion King. Like Nala, and there was another one. It's similar to his children's names. We also found a place in that national park in Kenya. It's called Hawaii, Africa, or Hawaii, Kenya. So he didn't lie when he said he was born in Hawaii, because there's actually one in Kenya. We also found some top secret genetic program that was happening in that national park in Kenya. It was very top secret. It was a group of scientists that went in there, and they basically were doing genetic studies and experiments. And it was a government-funded program, United States government-funded program. Kind of reminded me of how they were harvesting the pineal gland of penguins in Antarctica. And that was something that was found in the WikiLeaks that Clinton had funded. And we're like, why would they be harvesting pineal glands from penguins? What's that about? And we found that what that could have been about was, there's 24-hour darkness for half the year in Antarctica. And our pineal glands are kind of what guide our circadian rhythm, night and darkness. And they're probably trying to figure out how to hack that in some way, so that they could extend life. Who knows? I don't know, you guys, but it's crazy. It's crazy to contemplate all this stuff. So, okay, I'm back in the chat. Yeah, you guys, I know you're tired, purpose of these videos isn't to tire you out. The purpose of these videos is to help you understand that the rulers of this world, according to the Bible, is the devil. So we're taken care of, we're fine. But the problem is people keep hitting their head against a wall because they're trying to pick a side. Okay. If you're picking a side, you're going to be tired. Okay. If you're thinking, oh, I have faith in Trump, or I have faith in Obama, or I have faith in Kamala Harris, or, no big deal. Project Gotham is good, and rooting out illegals is good. If you're politically inclined to believe all this stuff, you're going to be wore out because it's a battle. This is supposed to get you to understand all this stuff and pull away from it and center your faith in Christ and the Lord's Prayer. Let your kingdom come. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You shouldn't be tired. Like, if anything, you should be empowered by this information and go, wow, there's the proof right there. There's the proof. But if you're holding on to these belief systems that politics can work and things are getting done and these people have our best interests at heart, then you're going to be wore out. You're going to be going back and forth with Trump because he seems like he's doing something good, and then he pulls it right back off the table. It's like with the EBT cards, right? And things like this. The government shutdown and wars and rumors of wars. We're not supposed to be tired from that. We're supposed to go, okay, the Bible said that. Wars and rumors of wars. So why am I going to get excited about it? Why am I going to get excited about an incoming comet? Why do I care? But it's good to know these things and to continue to see them exposed so that you remember and you don't fall back into the right-left paradigm. Because the right-left paradigm is what will wear you out. Their fear, their tactics, they're getting you to believe them and have faith in them only to pull the rug right back out from under you. Right? Now, on Sunday's show, I'm going to show you something crazy. Like, they're basically scanning people's faces right now with a phone app, a secret phone app that ICE is using. They're literally racially profiling people. Now, if you think that's okay to root out illegals, well, I got another thing coming for you, because right now it's illegals. Tomorrow it's every U.S. citizen. If you think that's okay just because they're here illegally to go up and harass an American citizen just because of the color that they are, then I guess we deserve what we get if we think that's okay. So, if everybody could wake up to these truths, we wouldn't have the problems we have, because the people in power don't really have any power. Their power is an illusion. The only reason why they have power is because they keep tricking us into the right-left paradigm. It never fails. I don't go a few shows without a long-term subscriber, coming at me saying Trump is doing good or something. I'm like, did you not see the 500 decodes with Trump symbolism in them, talking about Apollo, jabbing people, and then giving the cure in return for a sacrifice? Did we forget all those decodes? Did we forget the gold and all over Trump's 66th floor penthouse and in all the Apollo artwork and iconography? Did we forget all that already? Did we already forget that he already knew he was going to be the 45th and 47th president? Because he knew it, because he numbered his 1983 Trump Tower after the years that he would be president, decades before it happened, with 58 and 66 floors. And then he won 58 years after 1958 and 66 years after 1958. And he won the 58th presidential quadrennial election and the 66th presidential quadrennial election. Did we forget all that? Some people want to forget because that's falling right back into the right-left paradigm. It's a form of idolatry. It's a form of false worship. It's a form of blocking God's kingdom. Why do you think the only prayer Jesus asked us to do was let his kingdom come and his will be done? That implies that man's will is being done and man's kingdoms are ruling because we keep giving it our power. What if we all prayed what if every Christian in America said, well, we're not going to go to the polls this time. We're done. Instead, we're going to write in the Lord's Prayer into the blank, line on the ballot. His kingdom come, his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And send that in. I wonder if Jesus would actually come back at that point. I wonder if he would. I think he might. Because that is a true act of faith, flushing the toilet on these world leaders all across the world. Could you imagine him coming in the clouds? Could you imagine? But we don't have the faith to do it. We can't even get all Christians on the same page. We keep voting for men. We keep turning the other way when we're watching them sin in plain sight. We're now blowing up fishing boats in the Caribbean. Innocent people. We look the other way. Why? Because a couple illegals are being taken off the street? Is that why? So, I hope that you guys are awake to this. I hope you are. All right, I'm in the chat. What is up? Jesus won't come back by anything we do, says Christina. Yep, there's a timetable, and the Father knows it. Well, I can tell you this. Every other instance in the Bible was based on people's faith. I read the Bible. I don't, make guesses about things that the Bible has already proven to be true. Every single one of the prophets pleaded with the people. And the timetable that God used typically was based on people's faith and what they would and wouldn't do. Perfect example is the 12 tribes of Israel. God dealt with them. He wrestled with them. And yes, their faith determined the timetable. Yes, he is the Most High, and he ultimately decides the timetable. But that's the word grace. The word grace is all about God extending timetables based on people's faith. So I disagree with you. I believe that, and this is what's holding us back. We don't understand that all of this is based on our worship of the Most High in the Bible and belief in God. And this is why we keep giving our power away to men, because we don't believe we have any spiritual power in heaven. What do you think the whole story of Job was about? What about my servant Job? There was a spiritual battle going on in heaven, wasn't there? Based on what? On Job's faith. Based on Job's faith. If Job would have cursed God and died, which is what his wife wanted him to do, then things might have been different, wouldn't they? So, the only reason why Job was restored was because of his faith, which means his faith determined God's timetable in his life. So your belief does mean something. And until we understand that and try to come together and reject men ruling us and stop making excuses for them, we're going to keep chewing the same gum over and over again. So, our faith does mean something, and it can affect the timeline. But sadly, God already knows that it won't, because we don't have the faith. So, we must endure until the end. We're supposed to rejoice when we see these signs coming. And I recommend after this show that you do a word search on an electric Bible. You can go on any of the sites and do a word search on the word rejoice. And you will see that even when times are hard, we're supposed to be rejoicing. We're not supposed to be tired. We're supposed to rejoice, because that means that the end is near when we go through these things. So I want to encourage you to do that. You'll get encouragement out of that. Rejoice. In fact, let's do it now. Let's end the show on something that will encourage you. Bible Hub Let's go to Bible Gateway. Bible Gateway is a little bit better. All right, let's go to the King James Version, just because that's the closest one. KJV, let's see here. Here it is. To being accurate, and we're going to type in the word rejoice. Actually, I think it shows up. Yeah, here it is. Rejoice in the Lord always. Well, let's go to the New Testament, because the New Testament is really Jesus' message about rejoicing about these end times. When they saw, when they saw the star, the very first entry, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. That must have been the Star of Bethlehem, signaling the beginning of Jesus' coming, maybe. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. You see how it's all focused on heaven and not this life? For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So, think about how much more the prophets suffered. You guys, we live in an age where you can order food online and go park your car and have it loaded in the back of your car. Anything you want. We have, believe it or not, even though rents are high, we have a warm place to live with heating and cooling, most of us. I know some of you are dealing with health problems, and that's different. That's suffering. That's true suffering. And if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoiceth more of that sheep than the 99 which went not astray. Wow. So this is how I do my biblical research. I do it based on word searches, so I can get the whole context of what the word means and get encouragement. So I recommend you do this search if you're feeling down today. And I pray for you if you're feeling down today. All right, I'm back in the chat, you guys. Yes, they are racially profiled. It has been confirmed. We'll go over that on Sunday. I'll show you the program that they're using to do it. They have a program downloaded onto their phones. They literally can face scan you instantaneously. They're literally racially profiling Hispanic people, whether you're a citizen or not. So you have to deal with that. So all right, you guys, I'm going to pop off of here. I will see you guys on Sunday. We're going to start an hour later on Sunday. And I will talk to you guys then. Much love.